Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? Got another early kit review here for you of the latest Nuke Matrix kit. I've not built a Nuke Matrix kit for a little while, so interested to check back in on the series. But this is the Cyclone hopper kit there. Make sure I'm showing it to you guys, not upside down. Really big box here for this one, a ton of stuff in there, which is pretty normal for the line. I mean, other Nuke Matrix kits, I mean, if you've built any of them, you know that they usually come with quite a lot in the box. This is not going to be any exception with this one, not only including the female mecha girl character, but also a motorcycle in there as well, which has also been kind of a trend. There's been a couple of similar kits lately that are doing that, but that's what we're going to check out for today's video. Let's go ahead and get into it. But like I said, big box with some really cool art here on the front. You can see that it's kind of glossy for the character illustration and the effects over here set against a matte finish for the background. So it looks really nice. The character having this very insect kind of vibe there with the antennas, the wings, these kind of claw hands and everything, but a really cool illustration here on the front. We got the same thing on the ends of the box, but here on the bottom, we can see the kind of unarmored version. And one of the gimmicks of this kit is that it comes with these fabric parts for the clothes. So we've seen that before, like from time to time, but this is one where it's kind of like one of the main features. So you have this actual fabric like belt and skirt there, and then jacket for the top. Here you can see what the different face option parts are going to look like, and some more about the Kyunji spiral that she's got there, kind of an effect part there for the hands. There you can see the motorcycle and how she's going to look there. So I'm guessing that the plastic model kit part underneath those soft clothing parts is just going to be all in, you know, just nude colored, like skin colored plastic, I guess. We'll see some more on that. And then here on the top of the box, you can see here's how she's gonna look with her full armor on, and then on the motorcycle and all that. You can see a few detail images there, some more attack images, action poses and stuff. The effect parts do look pretty cool for this one, but let's go ahead and pop it open, because we've got a ton of stuff in here, no doubt. Right off the bat, yes, there's a bunch of the skin tone parts there for the body, it looks like, and some of the effect parts. We'll go through all of the runners here in just a minute. We got bare feet parts there, it looks like. So yeah, a bunch of skin tone parts here. In this bag, we've got the rubber parts for the tires for the motorcycle. So it looks like we're probably gonna have to just cut out this middle part here. I don't think, yeah, it's not gonna pop out. Probably have to cut that out there. So there's our soft rubber parts. Those look nice. Some more separately bagged stuff here, a face option part, and then a soft part for like the cloth for the scarf. So this is something else that we've seen in past kits before, but that looks really nice. It has a wire through that, so you can actually like alter the shape and it'll hold a shape for that. We'll see some more about this, so I'll go over everything in more detail in the review. Here's the same kind of base plate that we've seen in past Nuke Matrix kits. Their clear base plate. We've got this bag of some more face option parts there. Again, we'll take a closer look at those in the review as well. In this bag, we've got half of a part for an option face, I guess, for wearing the mask, and it's just like a blank face, so it doesn't have the eyes on it. And then in the bag, actually 2 sheets of waterslide decals. I think the first sheet here is actually for the motorcycle. You have that cool cricket on there, some like Chinese character logos, some different markings around here for like the instrument panel on the motorcycle there, it looks like as well. So some cool stuff there, mostly in white and a very dark gray. And then these other decals, it's basically just eye option decals and some other little bits that you can use there for some different expressions for the face parts if you wanted to. In this little protective Nuke Matrix plastic box here, we've got one of the effect parts. Pretty cool how this is packaged in here on this little cone shaped piece to hold that. And it is like in like a softer plastic. I'm also wondering if it's gonna be UV reactive at all. And oh yes, I wasn't sure if it would be or not, but it's very, very UV reactive. Geez, very bright, especially on camera. It's shining on camera even like more so. It's reacting even more so than it is like in person, but it still like lights up pretty brightly there. Let's take a look at another one. So yeah, it looks like all these clear parts are going to be very UV reactive, which is cool. I wonder if they're even glow in the dark as well. It kind of looks like they might be. Probably not, I guess, but that would be really cool. Let's see, so this is all runners, which we'll take a look at in just a minute, but let's check out the instruction manual here. So there's the front and the back, and on the inside, as you can see, everything is going to be there in black and white. No color, unfortunately, but it looks like after the parts list, we're just going to be building the main character body here first. And interestingly, the armored body we build first. I would have thought it would be like the unarmored body we build first, but it's the armored body first, then the motorcycle. And then after all that, here at the very end, is the parts like the naked body basically to put the clothing onto. But okay, then also just like the display base, then yeah, I was wondering if there's going to be other parts of the body that are basically not nude, but it's basically just going to be the feet. So for the feet, we'll have the option of bare feet or like basically plastic parts, kit parts that we're going to use to build like shoes basically. And the clothing parts are going to be here. And you can kind of see a bit about those. There's some QR codes for more information. Let's go ahead and get this out of here. All right, opening that up. Again, there's more QR codes for more info there on the inside. And it's basically just two little bags. Looks like these ones here in black, gonna be like for the top. And then I think that's leggings. And then maybe like legging bits. I'm not sure, they're not called leggings. What do you call it? And when it's for the arms anyway. And there's that little silver piece there on the front of the like tank top. And then in this bag, we have the blue jacket, that blue shiny jacket, and the belt and skirt combo there. Really nice, very interesting. For some more bits in here, we've got a whole bunch of hand parts there in flesh tone. And then we've also got a hand tree here with some more of like the armored hands. Anyway, in a bunch of different poses. We'll go through all of these, but these are gonna be here in soft black plastic there. And then to get into the runners, this is technically runner J3, so we're skipping ahead for a minute, but these are going to be just the clear arm parts for the base plate. One thing I will tell you guys, and I'll make sure to mention this during the review again as well, but do be very careful with these, as once this is put together and you're bending them, the connection points are pretty solid, but they do have a tendency to crack and break. So do be really careful adjusting the angle of this base once you have it put together. But as for the rest of the runners, they don't really seem to be in any order. They're not grouped like all the parts for the body first and then the motorcycle later, or even grouped by color. They're just kind of all over the place. So runner A1 here is in this really nice teal color. Runner A2, we have two of some chrome or silver plated parts there, and then some more on runner A3 as well. Got two of the A3 runner also for some nice chrome silver accents. Runner B1 is going to be a few parts here in skin tone. Runner B2 is a couple parts here in like a clear black. Runners B3 and B4 here are connected, some more parts in that plated silver. Runner D1 is a larger runner here, some more parts in this kind of dark teal kind of color. And the same thing for runners E1 and E2. We have two of runner E1 there, and then one of runner E2. Runner E4 is basically just some skin tone colored parts here for the wrist joints. A couple of larger runners here, parts for the motorcycle, it looks like on runners F and then runner F1 as well. These are in a kind of molded gunmetal sort of color. It looks pretty nice. Runner F2 then is just some more skin tone color parts here for the shoulders, basically the tops of the arms, it looks like. Runners G1 and G2 are going to be here in this very dark gray, almost black kind of color there. It looks like mostly some more parts for, well, yeah, it's kind of a mix. Some parts here for the body. On runner G2 is some parts for the motorcycle, it looks like. Runners H1 and H2, we have two of each, a bunch more smaller parts here in what is essentially black, just a very, very dark gray color there. Runner I here is going to be all of our hair parts in a light gray color. Runner L is a bunch more skin tone parts here and blank face option parts and everything there. Runners M and also runner M1 are here in like a clear reddish pink kind of color. Runner N is some more parts here for the body there in black. Runners O1 and O2, some more clear pinkish reddish parts there for like some effect parts, it looks like. Runner P1 is some of those clear green effect parts there. And then a few smaller runners here. P2 is some more skin tone little bits there. P3 is a few blue parts here. It looks like mostly for the feet. And then P4 is a few more parts there. I think that's also for the feet, but clear parts that will basically you'll be able to connect the effect parts into probably for those. And all the rest of the runners then are basically just all skin tone parts. So here we have runner R1. Runner R2 is mostly feet there. Runner R3 is parts that are mostly for the body and the thighs. Runner R4, some of the joint parts and parts for the lower legs and the forearms. I will say, glad to see that those are solid parts, so there won't be seam lines on those, and parts for the kind of lower half of the thighs anyway there as well. Runners S1 and S2 are some more clear effect parts here, sort of combo breakers, because then after that, like I said, the last few are just more skin tone parts here. So runner T2 is some more parts there for the body, obviously. Runner T3 here, and T4 and T5 there in skin tone parts as well. So there's a ton of parts here, as you might be able to tell. It's basically 3 kits in one, essentially 2 bodies, the armored body, the unarmored body, and then the motorcycle. So there's going to be a lot to build. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, then here is the kit all put together. Well, that's the first half of the kit anyway. Obviously we have the other half of the kit, which is going to be the motorcycle here, and then of course we have the other half of the kit, which of course, yes, it has three halves, which is the casual body form. So basically it's like three kits in one sort of, and then fortunately we don't have like a ton of other like weapons and accessories. Other than that, like a lot of the weapons are basically like built into the kit here, especially the armored form, as you'll see. And then we also have like, it's got like its claw weapons in there as well, but you don't have like swords and guns and all this kind of other stuff. So if you think, well, three kits in one, it's going to be kind of a lot to build. Yes, it will. Then we do also have some really cool effect parts in here, and then just like your basic accessories like face option parts, hand option parts. So we'll go through all that here in just a second. You do also have quite a lot of leftover parts as well. A lot of leftover parts basically for like a casual body. Not enough to build like a whole other body, but there's like some bits and pieces of body parts that you can make, that you can put together with the leftover parts, most of which is not really all that useful. So for our face option parts, here are the first couple there. You've got like the wincing one with this kind of scratch on the face, bleeding. You got the mask option here as well. And there is actually an alternate mask option part, so you can kind of choose between which version you want to use for that. And also an alternate set of eyes for using with the mask kind of looking straight on instead of looking off to the side there. Other face options going to include here, smirking face and open mouth face here. And then one with like this kind of gold pattern there on the face, which looks pretty cool there. And then another open mouth, closed eyes face here like this. For the casual body, one option that we have is optional feet. So you have these leggings, which if you remove, it's just kind of like bare legs underneath there. Then you've got these shoes, which are pretty cool. That you have the clear green part there for the soles of the shoes. I like that. But if you wanted bare feet, you have options for those as well. Either like solid bare feet like this, or ones that you're able to bend the toe, which don't look quite as nice because of all like the articulation lines on there, but you can bend the toes on that one. Alternatively, yeah, if you just wanted the bare feet, I think these ones look pretty good. And then all sorts of hand option parts as well. We've got a set of closed fists. We've also got a set of peace sign hands for both the left and the right side, thumbs up hands, as well as multiple types of weapon holding hands here. One set with the trigger finger extended, one set without. Then we've also got a set of open expressive hands and these like two finger pointing hands like that. So plenty of hand options to go around. And then real quick, just kind of with her clothing, the scarf of course is kind of an optional part you can have on there if you want. The wire inside makes this easy to form and shape to whatever shape that you want for that, to have it more blowing in the wind or not. And then of course the jacket as well, which will fit onto here. I'll put that on in a minute. One thing that is a little bit annoying about the clothing, the quality is pretty nice on here, I will say. The leggings and the top fit on there pretty well, but the skirt, there's like nothing really like holding it in place. So as you're just like change the pose and position the kit, like you'll find the skirt keeps like riding up to like the mid drift section there, and you kind of have to like pull it back down to be where it's supposed to be, and then it like kind of doesn't really stay there very well. I kind of wish they would have made something to make it so that the skirt kind of stayed in place a little bit better. It's just kind of a bit awkward on there. As for the armored body, here on the back side of the arm, there's that little piece there which you can replace with a couple of different options. So we first have a set of these smaller little like blade effect parts here that can poke out. Or you can opt for something larger, which is going to be going up the kind of opposite way. It just plugs in there to the back side of the arm, coming out of the back of the arm there like that. You can also opt for one of these clear green effect parts, like this is a third option, or I guess like a fourth option, because if you want to just keep that black part in there, you can. Otherwise, you have three different like effect part options that you can plug into there on the back side of the arm. And then for the hand option parts here, for the black kind of robotic insect type hands here, you have a set of closed fists, two different types of open hands here, just kind of open flat hands like that, and then just kind of open resting hands. Actually, I take that back, a third set of open hands here as well, where the fingers are a bit more curved. I don't know, it's like a small difference where you have like the open resting hands that I just showed you, and then these ones, the fingers are a bit more spread out and the fingers are a bit more curved, kind of a little bit more kind of action looking there. And then basically, once again, two different types of weapon holding hands here, one with the trigger finger extended like that, and then one without. And then for this like spirally effect part, this is just going to basically be used in combination with a hand that this will fit over. And so you're going to put this part basically like around the wrist, and then this just kind of then fits over the hand. There's, as you can see, like on the inside, there's nothing really that connects it necessarily into the hand. So we'll see how well that works. You're just kind of meant to just kind of put the hand in there and just kind of held on there like that. But instead of this piece here that gives you the spirally part kind of around the wrist, there's the option to put this part here with these much larger effect parts, and then this again is going to kind of fit inside there like that to be used sort of in combination with this part fitting around the wrist, and then this spirally part just kind of shooting out of there as well, kind of at the same time, so you can have kind of an extra effect there on that, which is pretty wild. And then our other large effect part here, this is meant to be used in combination with the claw weapons. Those are going to be found here on the motorcycle. So obviously we have this effect part here at the back, and that's just kind of going to also just, it's an effect part, and then also just kind of helps this to stand without falling over, because it doesn't have like a built-in kickstand. Otherwise you could just like put these parts down at the back to kind of help this to stand up, but that effect part just kind of works for that. And then the wheels do turn, like you can adjust the angle of the handles a little bit here just to kind of get a better grip on that. But yeah, the claw parts are here at the back, kind of folded around, and basically you can just remove those off of here. And when you do, this is just going to kind of unfold from there, and you can just kind of fold these claws back sort of like this. And this is going to fit around the leg. So like you can see, there's a little hole here on the back of the leg where this plugs into, and you kind of have to put the foot down into there at the same time. So the foot will slide into there. This plugs in here on the back of the leg. And then she's got these larger kind of bug claw weapons here that are just kind of attached onto the lower part of the leg like that for a main weapon. And then that is what this big effect part plugs onto. So these basically, the claws will fit up inside of there to make like a kind of blast kicking sort of effect there with that. So it all looks pretty cool. One thing to note is that this effect part on its own is going to be pretty heavy, but fortunately there is a hard point here on the bottom for plugging this onto the display base. So if you're trying to have this like in a pose where it's like kicking and it's just like not able to support the weight, you can use the display base here for this. And so we've got our standard display base with these arms here, and there's a number of different parts that you can use for the display arms and some extras, which is good because one word of warning for you guys, and I may have mentioned this during the unboxing, I don't remember, but I've found with these particular base parts that are used by this series of kits, and I think MS General kits, if I remember correctly, also use the same ones or very similar ones, they're very prone to breaking when you're adjusting the angle because they're pretty tight, and sometimes when you're just turning it like that, they can just snap here, and I've had that happen multiple times. So just be very careful and deliberate when you're bending these arms of the display base to kind of adjust the angle of things on here. So you have a couple of different options, whether you just want like a 3mm peg, which is what's going to connect into most of the options, either like the main kit body or like the effect part or whatever, like I said. And then of course you got this kind of clasp grip here as well, which you can use, then that just will fit around kind of whatever you want to put in this without actually having it plugged onto the base directly. So as you guys will see now, as we're taking a look at the kit in a few different poses, there's a lot that you can do with this. So I mentioned earlier that it's one where like you don't have like a lot of different weapon options. It's like shields, swords, rifles, weapons, like a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of the kind of weapons and accessories are all just kind of built in. It's a lot of different option hand parts, a lot of different option face parts that can basically give you a lot of different options in terms of like how you want to have the kit posed, what kind of expressions and things you want to give with it. You do have some weapons in terms of just like the built-in weapons, like built into the backside of the arms on like the full armored version. And then of course you have the Cyclone kick units, which are like the claw parts that attach onto the legs as well. And then you can, it's meant to be one character, but you can display the two kits together, the casual body form and the armored body form. I mean, with the display base, you have the capability to do that. So you can display this kind of all as one set, or you can kind of, display them separately. Like for example, if you wanted to have the casual body riding on the motorcycle as kind of like one display set, and then you want to keep like the armored body of the hopper as like a separate display set. You do unfortunately only have one of like the main display plate, but you have multiple arms that you can use for that. And then the motorcycle itself, doesn't really necessarily have to be on the display plate. It does also have a hard point on the underside, the motorcycle does. So if you did want to display it kind of like up in the air or like, flying or going off of a ramp or something. Anyway, if you wanted to have that up off the ground, you can do that as well, because it does have a hard point on the bottom side of there also. So really kind of a lot that you can do with this, and obviously with it just being a big box and having a ton of stuff in there, there's going to be more than enough options as far as how you might want to display this. And so you've just got a ton of stuff in there, and it makes for a pretty cool set for sure. Like I said before, it's been a little while since I've built a Nuke Matrix kit, and so it's cool to check in on the line. And this one was definitely a really unique one, really unique build with the combination of the motorcycle there. I do have to say that I'm not a huge fan of using like actual cloth type, like real clothing materials on model kits like this. I just kind of don't think that they really usually fit very well, and they just kind of look a bit odd. I just much prefer just like regular like plastic parts, something like the Sosai Shoujo Teien line, how you have is just all plastic kit. That's just what I would prefer. You know, obviously you're not going to get any flexibility out of those, whereas like real clothing parts will flex and move along with the kit, but sometimes a little too much. Like I said, with that skirt, I do find it kind of a little bit annoying trying to keep that in place as you're trying to pose the kit with the casual body. So there's kind of pros and cons there, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section when it comes to using like real clothing parts there for kits like this. I'm not really a fan, but I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. If you guys want to check out this kit for yourself, you can check it out at USA Gundam Store. The link to USA Gundam Store will be down in the video description as always. Actually, just during the time of me recording this review, it just arrived here in stock, so now is a good time to pick it up. If you wanted to get one for yourself, check that out there on the website. And as always, guys, thanks so much for checking out the video here today. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like. If you are not yet subscribed, of course, you can subscribe as well right down there below the video. And as always, guys, thanks so much for all your support. See you in the next one. Later.